What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, taking a break from Warzone, we're gonna head back to the land of Cold War where people have curving bullets and shotguns do weird inconsistent things. As you know, we recently just got added a third shotgun into the game, the Streetsweeper. Much like the Haymaker from Black Ops 3 or the Jak-12 from Modern Warfare, it's a full auto spam machine, so likely we can expect a weaker damage profile with a faster rate of fire. So today's guide is gonna be focused on just that, and I'll be going over the damages, the ranges, attachments, and the best class setup for you guys to check out. Now without further ado, let's just hop right into it with the damage first off. Now the Streetsweeper, like all the other shotguns, deal a flat damage and then a damage bonus based on the number of pellets hit. For this gun, in its max damage range, you deal a flat damage of 110 points and then you get a bonus of 3 points per pellet, and that takes it up to 134. Now it will never be a one-shot kill up close, and as you get further away, that flat damage value lowers and it takes more shots to kill. Now let's talk ranges, and buckle up because this is where it gets a little weird. If you look at the in-game stats, that 5.72 meters is basically the same on all shotguns, but on this one it's actually the second damage range, or the range when the Streetsweeper begins to take 3 shots to kill instead of just 2, but only for stomach and lower. Basically, it seems like headshots and chest shots will still be doing the damage from the previous damage range up to a certain point, and let me explain this a little bit better. So the max damage range for the Streetsweeper, meaning the range you do the most damage possible, is actually up to only 2.5 meters, and at that range, every part of the body you hit will deal that 134 damage that you see in the stats. Once you hit 2.5 meters, the damage drops down to 86 points, which is still 2 shots to kill at 150 health for stomach and lower. Headshots and chest shots still seem to deal that 134 damage from that previous damage range up until about 2.8 meters, so it's much like the Howard where you had a range that wasn't really stated, where chest shots would still kill in one shot, but the stomach wouldn't. So what about that 5.72 meters you see in the game stats? So once you hit that 5.72, it begins to take 3 shots to kill for stomach and lower. Up until about 6.1 meters for the base gun though, you can still get that 2-shot kill by hitting chest and up. So the in-game value seems to be for stomach and lower. Now with each damage range, there's a small bit where you can still deal more damage if you aim higher than lower, like chest rather than stomach. Now we've always had headshot and chest shot multipliers and things like that in COD, it's really nothing new. But what's weird is it doesn't happen consistently all throughout each range. In other words, normally you would hit head and it would consistently give you 1.3 times damage in each of those ranges. But in this game for shotguns, you get a headshot and chest shot bonus that extends past the stomach ranges, and then it gets cut down to stomach damage at some point. Now, if I was to draw it out to illustrate it better, it would look like this, and I'm sorry if this is kind of confusing, it's just kind of a weird system that they've implemented. So these are our damage ranges, and as you can see, hitting chest and head will get you these ranges slightly further out than hitting stomach and lower. So it's always best to hit slightly higher than center mass for shotguns in this game, it seems like. The boost isn't crazy for guns like this and the Gallo, where you just kind of spray anyway, but the Howard, where you need more precise shots to get one-shot kills, it makes more of a difference. Hopefully that picture kind of illustrates a little bit better what I mean when I talk about shotguns having slightly longer ranges for chest and up. Shotguns are strange in this game, so I tried my best to find out all the details I could. So when we look at 2-shot kill ranges, 3-shot kill ranges, and all that, I want to use that range numbers that you get from shooting chest and up, because it's not very difficult to hit those chest shots, and I don't want to complicate things by having too many numbers all over the place and all over the screen. Basically, head and chest do more damage for each damage range up to a certain point, so it is possible to get 2-shot chest shots at a range that would normally be 3 stomach shots. Phew! Now, up until basically the last of its range at about 19 meters, it can kill in 3 shots so long as most of your pellets hit the target. I used the choke to test this, but if you're playing and you have spread and the enemy is moving, it's possible to get more than 3 shots to kill, maybe 4 or 5, but the potential and the power is there. This is actually really nice, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I was expecting it to be like 4 to 5 shots to kill at like 15 meters, but it's consistently 3 in most ranges, and the choke is actually kind of a useful attachment to use on this gun, honestly. Once you hit about 19.4 meters or so, things do get a little weird. You can still hit legs and kill in 3 shots, but stomach takes about 4 to 5, which is weird, and it's just kind of all over the place. So apparently legs will deal more damage at that particular range, but just know that if you're at that last bit of range, which you probably wouldn't be at often, it might end up being kind of inconsistent, and you'll probably get killed challenging at that range with the weird damages going on. Just know that most of the time, the Streetsweeper will take 2 to 4 shots to kill, and if you use the choke, you can likely expect 2 to 3 shots in most ranges since the spread is much more tight and consistent. So the max range you'll be getting any consistent hit markers is going to be around 19.7-ish meters, pretty on par with the other shotguns. Now for the rate of fire, the Streetsweeper has the fastest in class and can shoot at around 300 rounds per minute. This gives us a time to kill of about 200 milliseconds in its max damage range, which is 2 shots to kill. If we're talking 2 shots from shotguns like the Howler and the Gallo, this puts the Streetsweeper in first in front of the Gallo and the Howler because it's faster than both. Of course, they can all one-shot as well, but that's a topic for another video. We're talking 2 shots here. The base Streetsweeper has a magazine size of about 12 rounds. This is okay, it's manageable, but you can equip 15 and 18 round drums, which are by far the way to go. The only problem is the reload time, and this is by far one of the worst things about this gun in both Cold War and Warzone. If you hit 0 shells and you want to get back up to 18, it's going to take close to 20 seconds to reload. You put every shell in one at a time, and then you have to move the drum, and it's just painful. It's really bad. I think Drifter said it feels like it's even slower than having to load a musket, really, which is just terrible. There's no way to speed up the reload speed, unfortunately, but really the best way to deal with this is to just top it off as you go. Shoot 3 shots, kill someone, immediately start to reload and take cover. This is usually a good strategy, and you can even make use of Gung Ho since you can reload as you sprint, which is super handy. In terms of pellet spread, the spread is on par with the other shotguns. It's basically identical if you look at the stats, and yet again, aiming down sights will tighten that spread a good bit. Lasers and flashlights work exactly the same as the other shotguns, so there's really no point in going over those too much as well. Sprint out times and aim down sights times are average for shotguns, and they're all identical, with sprint out times of about 400 milliseconds and an ADS time of 250 milliseconds. Of course, you can use attachments to really help with that, and you can basically see those stats for yourself in the game, and yes, they're generally accurate and proportional in how much they help in terms of percentages, so I won't go super in depth with those. It's not like Modern Warfare where you didn't really know how much something helped unless someone went in and tested it. Now that we have some basic stats covered, let's talk barrel attachments, which always helps shotguns quite a bit. We'll be looking at the max 2-shot kill ranges by hitting chest and up instead of just the base max damage range, since that's a bit more important in my opinion. I want to keep those numbers to a minimum on screen so we don't get bogged down and it gets messy. Looking at all the barrel ranges, the extended barrel helps by about 12%, which is nice, but that's about all it does. It takes our 2-shot kill range up to about 6.8 meters for chest and up. The Ranger barrel is by far the nicest barrel if you're looking to get the most range, and it takes your 2-shot range up to about 7.6 meters if you're hitting the chest area and up. And it takes your max damage range up to 25 meters, which is the same as the other shotguns. Now, we do get some rate of fire barrels like the reinforced heavy barrel, which helps both range, and it also takes our rate of fire up to 327 rounds per minute. This is a noticeable increase at about 9%, and it will take your time to kill up close from about 200 milliseconds for 2 shots down to 183 milliseconds, which is really nice. Now, ultimately, which barrel is for you depends on your playstyle. The Ranger barrel is super nice overall because of the max range, but having a faster fire rate is also super useful up close. I personally had the best luck with the Ranger barrel and kitting it out for a range, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you to use the Ranger barrel all the time like I would with the Howler over its rate of fire barrels. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering about it, so now I want to talk about the Task Force barrel, since that seems to be one of the most popular barrel attachments to use. With this barrel, you get more pellet damage at all ranges with an overall reduction of effective range. Normally, pellets deal 3 damage per hit, but with the Task Force barrel, your Streetsweeper will deal 15 per pellet. With a flat damage of 110, it means up close you only need to hit 3 pellets to kill in 1 shot. Now, yes, it can 1-shot kill, but this one-shot range is absolutely pitiful. It's the lowest of the three, understandably so given it's a spam shotgun more than the Gallo, and if you hit chest and up, you can one-shot at about 2.5 meters. It's actually 2.1 meters if you hit lower than chest, but the max range you can hit someone is lowered to about 17 meters, and at that distance it will take 4 to 5 shots to kill, and again it was kind of inconsistent at this super end of its range, so be warned. Now when it comes to the best 2-shot kill range, the contenders would be the Ranger barrel and the Task Force barrel, and if we look, the Ranger actually has a longer 2-shot kill than the Task Force does. This begs the question, is this barrel even worth it? Now in hardcore I'm sure it is, but since I'm a core guy, I have to say I much prefer the Ranger barrel over the Task Force for this particular gun. Not only can I challenge more at a further distance, but my 2-shot and 3-shot kill ranges are even better. Sure, I can't 1-shot kill up close, but the 1-shot range is so pitiful anyway, I honestly just prefer the range over power in this case. Not to mention, you can run suppressors on the Ranger barrel, which I never recommend on a Task Force barrel, so it doesn't kill range too much. Speaking of suppressors, the normal suppressor will take your 2-shot kill down to 5.4 meters, and your overall max effective range goes down to 17, and then the agency choke takes your 2-shot range to 5 meters, which is pretty painful, and your max range down to 16 meters. Now when you combine the suppressor with the Ranger barrel, you still get an impressive 2-shot at 7 meters, which isn't really too bad, and because of the nature of this gun, running a silencer isn't really a bad option at all. When it comes to how to use this gun, it is a spray and pray type of weapon, so you want to be getting up in people's faces and spraying like crazy. But the thing is, it's still decent in its 3-shot kill range, so you can still challenge people past 10 meters, but you have to aim down sights. This makes the choke a pretty useful attachment since it makes you pretty much have a slug-like spread. This attachment may not work well for some since it does take a bit more precision, but it's nice to be able to have that option if you want it. Now, Gung Ho is a really nice perk to have with this gun because like I mentioned, reloading is by far one of the big drawbacks to this gun. You want to consistently top your mag and do it often, and Gung Ho will let you do that on the go as you're sprinting. Now that we have the basics and more important things covered, let's go ahead and take a look at what a great class to use overall is. Like I said before, a lot of the attachments do what they say they do, and you can easily make judgment for yourself on some of the ADS and sprint out time attachments. For my best class, I use the Ranger barrel for most range, the 5mW laser for a tighter hipfire spread, no stock for better sprint out time, the 18-round mag, and then for the last attachment you have some wiggle room, but usually the choke or the suppressor is my option of choice. I have a feeling many would prefer the suppressor, and it definitely is useful for flanking and being able to sneak on people, so 8 out of 10 times I would recommend the suppressor. The agency choke though is usable on this gun, but it's still such a weak attachment, I really wouldn't bother with it. And that is just about going to do it for this guide, everyone. A lot of the stats and attachments are all kind of the same across these shotguns, which is nice, but it does get a bit boring and it gets kind of dry pretty quick. But in the end, this gun is probably one of my new go-to shotguns. I prefer this gun over the Gallo simply because I feel much deadlier at range than I do with the Gallo, and it just feels better and more what I'm used to than with the Gallo since that recent nerf. But I want to know, what do you guys think of the Streetsweeper? Does it live up to its name? Is it too weak? Be sure to subscribe for more Call of Duty content like gun guides, shotgun focused content, and much, much more. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.